was in Iraq from August of '04 to May of '05. A few months after I was there, I mean, a lot of things weren't sitting right with me. The command structure, the missions that we were getting didn't make any sense. We're going after people, mujahideen or muj, and they didn't have any idea which ones were the right ones. We're kicking in the wrong doors, terrifying children, helicopters screaming over their heads at night, and I'm trying to calm the women and children while the men were dragged and separated out and completely humiliated in front of their families. When I really came to the point where I knew that what we were doing was absolutely morally wrong, we had already cordoned off Fallujah. I was a part of the cordon where we cordoned it off, and then we made operations to move in, and 2 o'clock in the morning we went across the berm and instantly started taking casualties, but started lighting up this city like you wouldn't believe. Artillery strikes going in, and planes flying in and dropping 500-pound J-down bombs into obviously civilian areas. I mean, we had already come up to like a four-story like apartment building, and we had encountered heavy resistance from there, and we called an airstrike on it. Well, a helicopter strike with it, and after a couple of them, the building just completely collapsed in. And I was thinking at the time, man, how many civilians could have been inside there? I mean, just like any kind of conflict, there's people that are hiding inside of places that are unable to come out of these buildings out of fear that they're going to be killed by the enemy or our enemy for leaving, or out of fear that they're going to get shot in the streets, because when they do, they come out and they do get shot in the streets. We moved down another block and we came up to a smaller building, and my squad was tasked with taking this building, and the doorway, there was fire coming out of the doorway, machine gun fire, and from the windows, so I gave the order for them to use the missiles on the building. So we hit it, and then we stormed into the building. There was looked about a 14-year-old kid, a 6-year-old kid, and a young, maybe this could have been her husband, I couldn't tell because he was so messed up, and a woman that was bleeding, but not severely, and all she was screaming, "Why, Laish, Laish," and I broke down. I leaned up against the wall. I started to cry. I wanted to rip my hair out, what hair I did have, and go nuts. And the woman, seeing my reaction, came up to me and put her hand on my cheek and said, "Inshallah," which is God's will. Because these people over there, it doesn't matter what bad things happen to them, that they can accept it right away as God's will because they're deeply religious. But no, it wasn't God's will. It was my fucking order. I gave the order to fire those rockets into that building, and I killed her family. From then on, well, of course we had the rest of that battle to go through, and I saw more casualties, more civilians being killed. It's my duty now. It is my duty to stand up and speak, and I will do this until this war is over.